Alright, let us recap what we have done last week. Alright, last week I briefed you through what is AIS. Okay, AIS is Accounting Information System. Alright, Accounting Information System. This week you have already experienced the system, right, in the tutorial using the AutoCount cloud system. Alright, you have also experienced the setup of the company and also the configuration of the system pertaining to the chart of account, customer, and the supplier, right, maintaining the accounts. So over here, I'd like to go back a little bit to refresh our mind on what is AIS, right? AIS is simply, you can define it as a system, alright, allows you to record, process, and store data and to be converted or processed into information for the decision making or for better use. Simple as that, right? It's like a simple layman definition that you can cook out from your brain. Cook means, you can cook out from your brain, alright? If you cannot cook this out from your brain, it means last week learning objective has been failed, right? So simple as that, right? But over here, in technical terms, all right, in technical terms, AIS is what? All right, what is AIS? AIS is made up of six components, all right? AIS is or are. AIS is or are made up of 6 components. Is, right? Is made up of 6 components with the S there, right? Components, I get it right. All right, with the S there, right? So these 6 components are, right? Number 1. Yes, correct. People. Then we got the process. But let us align the point together, right? We got the people. People will interact with the system, right? System, which is the IT infrastructure, all right? Whatever it is, right? The hardware, the computer device that you will use. And then the hardware itself, of course, is not the end. The hardware, we look at the system, right? The software, the accounting software or whatever software that we talked about. But over here, last week, I explained to you about accounting software and how it branched up to become the ERP. All right, over here, if you remember the software part, I did a little bit story about this, how you can observe AIS versus ERP. In this context, you must be clear that how I define AIS consists of 6 components. And one of the components is the software. And the software can be any kind of information system software. Accounting information software, it means it is limited to the accounting functions. But if it's ERP, it is integrated across the organizations, all right? And that is how I frame the concept of AIS and ERP, all right? Of course, in the study kit that I provide to you, I also provide you with another concept. Not another concept, another perspective. Sometimes people follow the other kind of perspective, saying that AIS is only on this one. Then they say that ERP is the head of the AIS. All right, it's the umbrella of the AIS. It can be state like this as well. All right, depending on how you define. But what I define is I define it as AIS with 6 components, and one of the components is software, and software can be from accounting function, or it can be a wide function where we call it the ERP system that cover up the whole business operation. All right, should be very clear to you. All right, you cannot be when you have been tested with this kind of knowledge, you cannot like not sure. All right, it must be very clear to you. This is how it is defined. And over here we have the software. Software for what? Of course, the software is to guide you or to help you with the process, right? The process, okay? Software, process, they should jive, right? They should combine together, right? They should go neck and neck together. The process on what? All right? The process on capturing the informations or the data, capturing the data first, right? You're going to record the data so that you can process it to become the information or the reports for future decision making, all right? Then over here, we have the data, right? The data itself. Data itself is another component in the AIS. Without the source document, without the source data to be input into the process and to be input to the software, there will be system that is redundant. You understand? It means that it will not be used, okay? Then it will not form up the AIS component. And of course, with all of these components together, over here is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With all of these together, if you don't have a proper regulations or you got no proper regulatory, or we call it the procedure, right? You don't have proper procedure for this process and control, it will not work, right? Means that people might just sabotage the system and go around the system to achieve whatever they want. Or the theft or fraud might happen, all right? So the 6th component over here is none other than the most important one, which is the control, all right? With, you can just say procedure and control, but basically the highlight is control. You have the system, you have the process, you have the people, you have the infrastructure, everything. These are all 6 components that will build up the AIS. And in this process over here, all right, we want to look at what builds up this process. The idea, we look at how the IPO framework, IPO kind of analogy, right? Over here. The process over here is focusing on how we can change the input, all right, to the output. OUT output, right? So in each of the process that we will learn throughout the following 5 weeks, we're going to learn the different processes. This one over here. We will look at what is being input, what is this process, right? Process itself. What is being processed, and then what is the output for each of the functions, okay, or the business processes. Over here is usually is the data. Data will be the input, all right. All the data will be the input, and then the output will be the information, all right. The information will be the output. And over here we can see example of data is the date. We got, just go over here. We got the date, we got the name for the example of data. And this will be processed to become the report. All right, will be processed to become the report, which we will see later on today's lesson, which is order to cash revenue cycle. In other words, what kind of data that you will receive in the process, and what kind of data that you'll intend to generate out. Data, information to generate out from the process. The simple analogy over here for you to understand is like this, all right? Probably you will receive the customer information, and then you will receive the customer order. Those are like your input, and then order with the information you combine, maybe you can generate out the invoices to your customer. And by the end of the day, or by the end of the month or weeks, you can generate out the total list, total sales, or maybe the accounts that customer, if he or she purchased in credit, you can prepare a statement of accounts, right? Statement of debtors or accounts receivable account. Call them account receivable, right? Statement of account receivable for that particular customer. Is it clear? Something like this. But the main focus is, you will learn later, is on the process from order to receipt. All right, receipt of the cash. All right, and you will also learn from later on what are the documents that involves, all right, the input and the output documents, and then how to differentiate them. All right, whether these are this document or what that is that document. Also, we go back to the system. All right, what is the purpose of the system in helping the process? All right, there will be three main objectives that you will learn for each of the process. All right, three main objectives. One is the process. Four main objectives. All right, one is why you need the process. All right, you have to question yourself first, right? Why you need that process? And then the process itself, the process flow. Then the documents involved in the process. Finally, what is the use of the system in supporting the process? Okay? Of course, you want to have a quality information over here. And quality information, there are 7 criteria. If you remember them, it should be relevant, reliable, verifiable, or some more, available, accurate. What is it? Some more. Let's see, timely, and I just try to cook it out. All right, try to cook it out. I don't remember. Accuracy and what some more. It's inside the note, right? It's inside the note. But you can find yourself over there. I don't want to highlight so much because we have not much time over here. Let me see. I'm just checking the time. All right, over here, a little bit review what happened last week. Last week, I go through with you the manual process in record to report, right? The manual process in record to report. If you remember, these are process, Process is what? You don't get scared by the word process. Process means like how different activities are combined into one cycle, which will have an objective for you to fulfill. And record to report, all right, over here, just put here, record to Record to report over here, the objective is for you to record whatever business transactions that you have and process it, which means the process over here means there's different activities that is happening in between, and then you will get the report, which is the financial statement over here. All right, we got the journal over here. Over here is the source, right? Source documents. You got the source documents over here. Will be input. You will do what? You will do the journal entries, right? Journal entries for the source document. This is true in a company that don't have the other functions, all right? Or the other functions is not connected. They are disintegrated. You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay lah, just go like this, right? Alright. What you have learned in your financial accounting, right, is basically the manual bookkeeping. Okay, you go and someone asks you in the practice, in the industry, come to you, ask you, do you know how to do bookkeeping? You should say yes, I know how to do bookkeeping. Alright, and then they continue, you can say bookkeeping is what? Bookkeeping is you record all the source document to the journal, you post them to the ledger, you balance them in the trial balance, and you create the financial report. This thing should be clear, alright? You should be clear about this, alright? This is the bookkeeping, bookkeeping, alright? Double K, is it? Is it double K? 1K, right? Bookkeeping. This is what we call the bookkeeping. Manual bookkeeping. In the system, you no longer do this process over here. This one will be automated, right? It will be automated. It means you just need to handle this part. This is the important part, right? You just handle the journal. And this is what I stopped last week, right? So go back over here, the process that I say, this is the process from record to report in the manual look, all right, in the manual era or with the manual environment. And if it's converted into the computerized, you will have all this automated. But over here is when we start with this source document over here. When we start with this source document, all right, start with this source document. Over here is the key, all right. In this record to report, right, the source document can come from where? Alright, where does the source document come from? Report to record is straight away to the journal. That must be inside of brain, alright? You start with journal, right? You don't start with other things. Then where are the documents come from, right? Where are the documents comes from? Correct. The documents come from over here. Can you see this? These are all the different process that will provide the document. It might be source document, it might not be source document. It might be the report of the certain, not report, the output. Right? It might be the output of certain process become the input of this report to record process over here. So let us start over here. We can see that this brought over to here. Order to cash. Over here, we record from order to cash. It means what? Usually you learn, I need to highlight to you this one, this is very important. Usually in sales transaction, right? Usually in sales transaction, you will straight away learn about the invoice, right? Straight away, when you want to record sales transactions, you look at the invoice, right? If this is the invoice, you look at the title of the invoice, and then you look at the company who issued this invoice. If this company is your company, then you know that this is sales invoice. It's clear, right? And then straight away, you enter to the journal. The sales invoice as the source document, and you straight away enter into the journal. Is that clear? But what I tell you is, in business, you might not start with sales invoice, all right? When you want to have a sales, when you want to conduct, or when in a sales, all right? In a sales process, you don't straight away start with the sales invoice. You don't always, all right? Don't always. The key word there is you might not start with sales invoice. So what you will start with? You will start with the order, all right? It's the same like you open up your Shopee, yeah? You know Shopee? Kind of ads, all right? Those kind of platform that you can purchase. You will first order first, right? Order first, then place your order, send to the seller, then the seller will ship the goods to you, then you can track it through your application. You see there are steps, right? There are one step to another step until when you receive the product and you click you order receive, then only you can generate the invoice. Is it right? Should be right lah, right? I didn't test the new system, but what I remember is only in Lazada, I think in Lazada, once you receive can you generate the invoice straight away? Cannot, huh? Only when you receive, then when you click receive, then you can generate the invoice. I don't know the procedure. See, this is the procedure. Then only you get the invoice generated, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that this is the missing part, all right? These are the missing piece. These are the puzzle, right? These are the puzzle. All the while, we start straight away to the source document. All the while you learn, you start straight away to the source document. But in reality, in big business, there might be other process before you reach to the sales invoices. Okay, can you get that or not? These are the process. But what are the activities? All right, what are the activities? What are the activities inside here? We'll see them later. All right, we'll see them later. Also, it is also true for this. It's also true for this and this, which we will look throughout the 4 weeks, and we'll end ourselves with this one. All right, this is this will be the end, and we'll see what are the changes inside here. Not straight away now, because you don't have to do the normal manual work anymore, right? So we accountants, what we do, we try to find work for ourselves. If you don't have work, you go to your company and you don't have work, it means what? If you don't have work, means what? It means you'll be fired lah. Simple as that, right? So we accountant, we try to try to make ourselves relevant. So in the record to report, you can see there's other functions to add in from there, all right? To analyze, to do other process. That's the following 5 weeks. All right.